Bryce Miller goes down. Who's going to take his spot? What's our starting pitching depth like? I'm going to cover that question today on Mariners Daily. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Edwards. Thanks so much for joining me here on this episode. Episode 110, which is pretty good. We're moving right along. So thanks so much for joining me here. Make sure you subscribe if you like Daily Mariners content. We're getting closer and closer to the season, and it's going to be a freaking banger one for the Mariners. So I'm freaking excited. This question sparked up from actually some comments from yesterday's episode, which you should definitely go check it out if you're interested in how MLB trades work in general. I kind of break down the Brendan Donovan trade and how I think it went about. But either way, a couple comments because I had mentioned Ryan Sloan, Cade Anderson making their starts in spring training, which was super exciting. And I got a couple comments based on our pitching depth, and I thought it'd be a good time to kind of break it down and see what we got, see what we're working with here. Um, the main comment I want to cover first is from Scott Dobson 1276. Thanks for commenting, Scott, and thank you for watching, man. I really appreciate it. All right, he says Anderson feels like the eighth or so option in the rotation. If they need 10 starts later in the year, I feel better about Anderson than Hancock. With Sloan, it seems really unlikely he would start this year. I can see a scenario where late in the season he is seen as a dominant arm in the big league pen. I feel a little bad for Hancock, he says. Seems like he was told he would be moved to the pen where he had a legit chance to make the team, and then the Evans injury put him clearly into the sixth or seventh starter role. His option puts him in Tacoma all year. As a starter, he hasn't been very good. So that's on him. But reviving his career in the pen seems at least possible. Now it's gone. I think Scott makes a good point here. It's it is a little frustrating, and I kind of want to break it down a little bit. Obviously, I'm going to get to Hancock, Criswell, Dunning. We're going to discuss all three of these guys. This is our starting pitching depth as of right now. Obviously, yes, I think eventually I would feel more comfortable with Anderson than Hancock, but I think it makes more sense to go with Hancock just because he has way more experience. Let's be honest here. Anderson does not have much experience at all, which is why I've always been of the opinion that he should be in the minors. So, if that is the case, and with Logan Evans down, what does our depth look like as of right now? Now, I'm a guy that always wants more depth. I always want more. I always want more. Everybody's I feel like I've been criticized in the past for like wanting too much, for wanting too good of a pitcher as depth, which that could be true, but I just want more. I just want better, and we could always have more depth. So let's break down the depth that we do have, because we do have some of it. Emerson Hancock is the guy that obviously we got to get to. Um, can he be the guy that we need? Can he be the guy that gets the job done? That does passable, 5 innings of work, maybe gives up 2 runs here, 3 runs there, but keeps us in the game, basically. Can he do that? I don't know. I'm not sure. But he has looked good in spring so far. He's looked pretty good. And he's increased the four seam and the slider usage quite a bit and has only thrown the sinker a couple of times. Like, it's not that much of a used pitch so far. Once again, this is spring training stats. Grain of salt, grain of salt, grain of salt. 4 1/3 innings pitched so far in spring training for Hancock. 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He's a couple positives here. And now, first off, just a comment on Scott's comment here. I do think they were planning on maybe a long relief role, possibly for Hancock, but but you're correct. We need him to start, and they've been prepping him as a starter in spring training so far, which we had the luxury of because I think Evans got injured early enough. So he starts off with the four seamer. He's sitting 96 miles an hour right now. He sat right around 94, 95 miles an hour this past season. So listen, only This is only a small sample size. This is from his start on February 28th. This past Saturday, he pitched 2 2/3 innings pitched, 4 Ks, and was sitting 96 on the four seamer, which is great. He threw it 41% of the time in that outing, and it had a 44.4 whiff percentage. Almost half the pitches got a whiff on the four seamer. That's freaking fantastic. I mean, I love to see that. That's great. And the fact that he's throwing faster, I'm sure it helps quite a bit. He threw the slider more than he usually does. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Slider, he threw 30% of the time, had a 33 whiff percentage on there, which is pretty good. The changeup was 13%, didn't throw it that many times. Threw the sweeper only 3 times in that start on February 28th. Had 3 whiffs, had 100 whiff percentage. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, the sweeper is meant to get whiffs, so like that's what you're expecting. But I did want to comment on the sinker here. He only threw it twice in that February 28th start, which 2 2/3 innings pitched is not nothing. And throwing the four seam like he was, it makes sense that he didn't need the sinker. The sinker is a bad pitch. This past season, he threw it 38% of the time. It had a 362 WOBA and a 380 expected WOBA. It's not a good pitch. It's not. So I'm glad to see the four seamer is getting used more, and glad to see the velocity here. I mean, I was not expecting to see 96 sitting 96 as well. That means he can get it up there. And the fact that, obviously this is a shorter start, so maybe he is throwing just a little bit harder, but he's still preparing like a starting pitcher. He's on a starter schedule. So theoretically, this is what we would be seeing, if he does have to start the season. God forbid Bryce Miller is out for a little while, which, listen, we're going to have injuries. We need a starting pitching depth. I think Hancock is our number one guy right now to get starts uh, besides our main five. I think Hancock is the obvious option. He's obviously got the most experience in the majors. But then again, the next option is somebody interesting. It's Cooper Criswell. The guy we grabbed, I don't know, he's kind of interesting. He has gotten the job done before. Not this past year because he only pitched about 17 innings in the majors this past year, but 2024, he was in that role. He was in the role that we're kind of projecting him for with the Boston Red Sox, 99 and a third innings pitched. He didn't do great, but he got the job done. 17.2 K percentage. Say that again. 17.2 K percentage, a 7.3 walk percentage, but a 4.08 ERA and a 4.15. That's getting the job done. That's all I'm looking for out of, starting pitching depth. Obviously, you want somebody that's better. Obviously, you want everybody to be, freaking fantastic, which is what we're used to in the Seattle Mariners rotation, unless we get hit with injuries. And then our depth gets it's shown into the light, and we have to deal with Hancock. We have to deal with Logan Evans. We got to deal with, whoever it is. It doesn't look great. Criswell has gotten the job done before. I think Hancock could get the job done as well. And I didn't really cover the reliever aspect of Hancock. I don't know if that is the move for him. I do think that it would help him to a certain extent, and maybe there is a possibility there. But he does have an option, which is not great. And the fact that he's a starter means that they're going to want him on a starter schedule. So unless Miller is really out at opening day, Hancock doesn't really have a role in the major league squad. So Hooper Criswell could. Uh, it's a possibility. I mean, we grabbed him, so I don't think he has any options left. So you would have to put him on waivers and get rid of him if you wanted to. So maybe he's the guy that makes the team. And 2024, I mean, like I said, a 4.08 ERA is not nothing, He's looked, I would say, good enough in spring. He's a very soft thrower, tops out at around 89.8 miles an hour. He's thrown 4 innings so far in spring training, 3 hits, has given up a home run, and 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. his last start. Threw the sinker most of the time 9 times, threw the changeup 7 times, the cutter 7 times, and then the sweeper 5 times. Now, the one thing with the sweeper I will say is it got no whiffs. Nada. Zip. Zilch. No whiffs on the sweeper is not great. However, the cutter has been a good enough pitch for him in the past. Rewind to 2024, he threw it 15% of the time, had a 252 WOBA against a 281 expected WOBA, and a 29 whiff percentage. On a cutter is kind of interesting and kind of gets the job done there. Now in spring, this past start, he did get a good whiff, 50 whiff percentage on the changeup as well, which he threw 7 times in his last start. So the changeup and cutter could be something interesting. I'm just way too worried about that sinker. I just don't think it's a good enough pitch to get the strikes and to get by. All you're really hoping for is ground balls and soft contact from Criswell. So he could get the job done. He could. He could throw the cutter enough times. Maybe he increases the usage of it because only 15% of the time. I mean, he threw it the same amount of time as the changeup. Like, I mean, he is throwing a decent amount, at least in spring so far. So I would like to see the cutter increase in usage and see what we can get from it, you know? And maybe he is the starter. Maybe he's the guy. And maybe because Hancock has the player option, we've got to keep him in the minors. That's a possibility. Not a fun one, but, you know, we got to do what we got to do, you know? Yeah. So I think those are our two main options, Hancock and Criswell. I think obviously Anderson would be great eventually, but I just don't think he's ready yet. So we'll see. Now, final option here is it's Dane Dunning. I don't want Dane Dunning. I don't care. I would rather just throw him in Tacoma and that's fine. He can be in that rotation. I don't want him in the major leagues. I don't want him. Don't want him. Please don't put him in the major leagues. I really don't want him just because of the name. We're just doing it for the name value. Is that what we're doing? This past season he pitched 12 games out of the bullpen, 20 and 2/3 innings pitched. Did have a 22.1 K percentage, not bad. But he also gave up 1.74 home runs per nine. That's not great. He had a 6.97 ERA and a 5.07 FIP. I don't want him. I don't want Dane Dunning. No, thank you. No, thank you. He's had 3 and 1/3 innings pitched in spring training so far. I don't have stats on his pitches, honestly. Can find him. He's given up 4 hits, 3 earned runs. 4 walks in 3 innings in spring training is just not what you're looking to see. Obviously, you're looking for whiffs. You want to see the stuff play. You want to see usage. But walks, you want to see control. You want to see zone percentage. Get the pitches in the zone, strikes, all that good stuff. Not the walks, and that's not great. Dunning is going to be playing in the World Baseball Classic for Team Korea, apparently. Didn't know he was eligible for Team Korea, but hats off to you, my man. I hope he does well, but I don't want him in the major leagues unless he really proves himself in Tacoma. Unless he goes to AAA and just kills it, I don't want him on the major league team. I would rather Hancock. I would rather Cooper Criswell. I would obviously, at the end of the day, would rather Bryce Miller. And I think Anderson could show his face eventually. I think 10 starts might be a little bit high of a guess here from Scott Dobson here. But I think Anderson can get some starts in maybe in September, and we'll see where we go from there. Maybe he comes up a little bit earlier in August just to get his feet wet and get into the rhythm of facing major league batters, which is going to be super fun. I'm so excited. But as for right now, I think Hancock is our best option, followed by Cooper Criswell. Now, could Criswell make the team because he doesn't have options and Hancock does? Yes, that's a very serious option. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Do you think Anderson should start the season in the major leagues if Bryce Miller is injured? Are you saying Kate Anderson starting the team in the major league? Like, I don't think so. That's not where I stand, but let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Quicker episode here. We're just moving right along through spring training. Have a great day. I'll see you back tomorrow.